We can't run up a credit card, have a party, and leave our children to pay the bill. It is time to put an end to the runaway spending and the record deficits.
The president's budget will leave a whopping $9.3 trillion deficit.
The White House says that 4 former CIA directors, including you, all advised against the release of these so-called torture memos. He also went against the current CIA director, Leon Panetta.
And the administration is denying this. They're saying, no, it wasn't a vow. He was grabbing his hands and, oh, he's a little taller.
To lie about the most trivial thing is really pathetic.
North Korea said Tuesday it was preparing a satellite launch, which analysts say may actually be a test of its longest-range missile.
When a TV cameraman came up to me and asked me some questions, I told him right off the bat, I said, I'm really glad to be home, I'm proud of my service, but I am against the war in Iraq. And I know that some family members and some friends weren't pleased that I said that. They thought it was maybe inappropriate at that time. But if every soldier comes home and they just say that they're glad to be home, then no one's going to know the truth about what's going on in Iraq.
Flags are bits of colored cloth that governments use first to shrink wrap people's brains and then as ceremonial shrouds to bury the dead.
The U.S. military as an institution is very corrupt and is built upon spreading death. To me, the idea of having a force like the U.S. Army participating in nation building is just asinine. I mean, we're nation destroyers. That's what we're trained to do.
We were all congratulated after we had our first kills. My company commander personally congratulated me. This is the same individual who has stated that whoever gets their first kill by stabbing them to death will get a 4-day pass when we return from Iraq.
I've heard numerous circumstances of civilians getting killed, and then soldiers and Marines subsequently placing weapons on their bodies or placing wire on them.
Army Private First Class Lavina Johnson would have turned 23 this month, but 3 years ago, the African-American teenager from Missouri was found dead in Vladara, just a few weeks short of her 20th birthday. Her body was found in a tent belonging to the private military contractor Kellogg Brown & Root. She'd abrasions all over her body, a broken nose, a black eye, burned hands, loose teeth, acid burns on her genitals, a bullet hole in her head. The Army labeled Lavina Johnson's death a suicide. They told her parents she died of self-inflicted non-combat injuries.
Oh, hey, say it again. Say again what happened.
Say what?
You know, like what was going on? What was like being a guard there?
Guard at Hamburg.
Yeah. That place, man. It's fucking world famous now.
As far as I'm concerned, they're all guilty. You know what? They should have kicked Saddam out themselves. Instead, we're there doing the fucking job. Fuck them, dude. Anyone with a fucking rag on their head is fair game. Girl, she's probably like 15 years old.
See it, right?
Well, hadn't been touched yet. She was fucking crying.
Oh.
So, guys, he started pimping her out for $50 a shot. I think at the end of the day, he made like $500 before she hung herself. Really?
4 soldiers walked through the trees and approached this house. Here, according to specialist James Barker's statement, he and another soldier took it in turns to rape the 14-year-old girl. In another room, the girl's parents and 5-year-old sister were shot dead. Barker's statement said after Green had killed the 2 adults and the little girl, he came into the room where the teenager was being sexually assaulted. He had an AK-47 rifle in his hand. He said, "They're all dead. I killed them." He put the weapon down, raped the 14-year-old, and then shot her dead too. Before they left, they poured kerosene over the girl's body and set it alight. They returned to their checkpoint, and Barker said he grilled some chicken wings.
4 years ago, at the age of 19, Ms. Jamie Lee Jones signed a contract to become an employee of KBR, then a Halliburton subsidiary. Ms. Jones arrived in Iraq in July of 2005 and was housed in barracks with 400 men and only a few women. 4 days after her arrival, Ms. Jones was drugged and gang raped. After Ms. Jones reported the rape to her supervisors, she was locked in a shipping container with an armed guard and prohibited any contact with the outside world. They locked her in a container.
According to the Center for Defense Information, 51% of your federal income taxes go specifically to military spending, not healthcare or education, but war.
Too cute, little puppy. Oh, come on, you're almost there, hurry! That's fucked up.
Why was her child, one of an increasing number born with deformities since the war, like this? Massive growth which was rapidly spreading across the little girl's face. Case after case of differing deformities without any real explanation, except their parents' suspicions that the deformities were caused by chemicals such as white phosphorus used by the Americans during the war.
A Geiger counter will give a reading of between 5 and 15 pulses per minute in a typical environment. This depleted uranium round will trigger 10,000 pulses in about 40 seconds. This type of ammunition is radioactive because it is made of nuclear waste referred to as uranium-238 or depleted uranium. This material is left over from the processing of uranium-234 used for atomic bombs and uranium-235 used in nuclear power plants. Uranium-238 remains radioactive for 4.5 billion years, and its toxicity reveals itself as soon as particles are inhaled or ingested. Cancer and birth defects are the most common side effects.